Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We are live on Twitch and on YouTube, and you can watch podcasts now on Twitch and YouTube because podcasts are no longer podcasts. Everybody has them, including Hawk to a Girl, Haley, whatever her name is.
Also, if you want to enter a couch in the Sofas and Suds Sanford couch racing coming up November 24th, you can go on Sofas and Suds Facebook page or email me. I'll forward it to Mike Smith. He'll get you in there. You know, there's a small fee and some rules, but it's a great way to promote your company.
Super fun, great promotion. Tons of people, thousands even, will be down there.
And I know from behind the scenes, they're filling up the spots now. So if you do want to get in, you know, of course you have to have a couch and the specifications, but now's the time. So email me, tom@tomanddan.com. I'll forward it over to Mike.
All right. Now, we full transparency, we do have a Weird Job scheduled. You can see this gentleman on our screen right now on the bottom left-hand corner if you're watching. But Tom always likes to, bring something a little new. And he's like, hey, real quick, can we try to do because should I say what the gentleman's job is?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. So this particular gentleman we're going to talk to plays piano and has played piano for dueling piano type installations. You know what I'm talking about? Like, like your dueling piano bars or your dueling piano floats or jelly rolls at Disney World or what's the one where they write the stuff on the mirror and they.
That I pay you $20 to write rules, FSU sucks.
Yeah.
And then another person pays me $30 to say FSU rules. That's really your only job. That's how you make that. And then you play piano.
Well, I will tell you that that piano players that play dueling piano suck me in. So we're going to try this. This is from AI. This is a song about how strange it would be to be a dueling piano player. Let's see if they hit the mark or fail.
A song about how strange being a dueling piano player is. Please, weird job and fat slob.
Hold on. This guy's gotten lazy. It just took all the words and then just put them up front.
It just blew our guest hat off. It literally was the dumbest thing. It sounds terrible. That's the worst one we've ever had.
Just put all the words in up front.
Here, let's try the new one. Okay, here, the last one.
A song about how strange being a dueling piano player is. Please.
Okay, no, I can't do this. It's terrible. It's actually super lazy. Tom's right.
Like my job is secure.
On the line with us right now, and I think I've known this gentleman for, would you say like 30 years? We've been sort of acquainted.
Sure. Back from the original Drew, the Drew Show days. I was a big fan.
All the way back from the old Drew Garabo days. On the line with us right now via Zoom is dueling piano player Johnny Diggs. What's going on, man?
Good. I'm doing great. It's good to talk to you again. It's been a while.
Yeah, man. It definitely has. So I guess we've already jumped into it, and AI did a terrible job. So Tom,
So Johnny, let me ask you, because I know a little bit about dueling pianos only because of Bubba.
Yeah.
And I remember when Bubba Wilson got a job as a dueling piano player, and then he was telling us, like, he had to audition for it, and you had to know all these popular songs that they know people will request.
And he was not stressed out at all.
Yeah, and the hardest one being Bohemian Rhapsody, just because there's a lot. He's like, it's a harder song than it seems to play on piano. And so let's talk about that. So even to become a dueling piano player, are there a list of standards you have to know?
Yes and no. I mean, there's a you kind of have to have. Like, I started playing at Howl at the Moon back in the mid 2000s, and Howl at the Moon had that was on International Drive. It originally was the first time I ever went to Howl at the Moon was on Church Street. They moved it over to I Drive in the 2000s.
Yeah.
And sort of the going thing was you kind of had to know you had to have 100 songs in your book, and of those songs there are songs like they call the Big Eight, which I don't you could probably guess what some of the Big Eight are.
Hold on, let me try to guess. Hold on,
the Big Eight. Oh, this is great.
For sure, Piano Man.
Correct. Yeah.
Is Sweet Caroline on the board?
Sweet Caroline is definitely on the Big Eight.
Yes.
I got Bohemian Rhapsody.
Survey says.
Yeah. Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody, definitely.
Tom got
Definitely.
two.
Okay.
Tom got two.
Um,
Sweet Home Alabama.
Sweet Home Alabama. I would put that on there. It's not really considered one of the Big Eight.
Auxiliary. Or yeah, backup. Stand by.
God, I want to. Is a Michael Jackson song on there?
No Michael Jackson's on that list. No.
I guess that's not
That's
even
the
a piano.
dumbest. That was the dumbest.
Oh, I just
Why
thought.
did you even say that? You're embarrassing me in front of my musician friends. I should do better at this as like sort of as Orlando's resident.
Surprisingly, Michael Jackson doesn't get requested all that often in dueling piano bar. Every once in a while, like Billie Jean will get requested, but you don't really see a whole lot of Michael Jackson.
Most of
days.
my piano bar people are a little conservative, and they think Michael's a bit of a monster. They think he's a monster.
Yep, you gotta be
That's political.
I
Okay.
don't know.
One of the tricks is to try to stay out of politics when you're up on stage. But
Tiny Dancer.
other ones include "Don't Stop Believing."
Oh,
You got "Crocodile Rock" by Elton John. You got "Brown Eyed Girl."
Oh, we missed Brown Eyed Girl.
I mean, the most obvious.
Yeah.
We've had a gentleman play Brown Eyed Girl for 30 years in front of us, and we didn't guess that.
Yeah, we didn't get that one. All right.
Hotel California is on there.
Oh, okay.
So do you like when you go in? Do you like obviously? Do you try to knock out the Big Eight first, and then you're like, okay, I got those down, and then you try to pepper in things that you like, or how do you build a sort of a songbook?
Well, you're playing with other players. At Howl at the Moon on any given night, there's typically 4 players, and so you kind of have to, when you're coming up in the ranks, there's more established players, so you don't want to pick the songs that they're good at, because if somebody else is really good at singing a song, you kind of want to let them do that,
Sure.
because the crowd will like it, and if the crowd's having fun, more tips end up in the tip jars. And so what you end up doing, what I ended up doing was kind of finding those little gems of songs that are more like one-hit wonders and stuff that people like, that are catchy, but they wouldn't necessarily request it. And so I put a lot of those in my sort of quiver. But you have to know that, you have to be able to play, you have to be able to at least play a song from almost every big artist. So you got to know, at least 1 or 2 Queen songs, 1 or 2 Journey songs, 1 or 2 Bon Jovi songs. You just kind of have, and even that's the trick with dueling pianos, and why it works so well is because there are 4 of us, or at least 2 of us, depending on the club. But so if I don't know a song, I can throw it to my partner, and he might know it. So, and if neither of us know it, well, then we kind of look at, can I pull it out of my ass? Can I look at the lyrics and pull it up on my phone real quick and learn it? But or we'll just play something else by the same artist, and people don't usually care. But sometimes we'll get people that want to play, stump the piano player.
Yeah, I've seen those guys. It seems like almost as if they were like, the guys that want to get 100% on all their trivia. There are guys that like regulars that enjoy. Like, let's talk about that.
I'm going to name an obscure song that this guy won't know, and then when he doesn't know it, I'll be happy. It's all right, good for you. What, are you crazy? Why does that bring you joy?
Or they'll request songs that just don't translate well to a piano. We'll always get Freebird almost every night, and nobody really wants to hear Freebird. They just want to yell Freebird.
Play 9 Inch Nails. I want to F you like an animal. We're like, sir, I can't even play that.
Song's called Closer, sir.
I don't know what that. So
get the
Johnny,
title right.
Okay, I got a bunch of questions for you. So first question, I want to know, what's the biggest single tip you've gotten to play a song, and what was the song?
I got, it's not that uncommon that someone will throw 100 up. I remember I got $100 to play a Nickelback song, and I started to play it, and I got $101 to not play it, and then and so I stopped playing it, and then the first guy gave me $200 to play it again. So that was a very, very lucrative song to play, and I don't really like Nickelback, so
Yeah, no one does.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
yeah,
hold
you made
on.
like $400 to
Johnny.
do like, just kind of fumble through a Nickelback song. That's awesome.
Did you think to yourself, like, hold on, I'm going to have my buddy or a plant, like a bartender, do this
Yeah.
every night as a joke?
You
Like,
drive up your bidding like eBay.
yeah. Ask me to play a song. Everybody's gonna
You
hate.
need some signals, because what if it goes sour and then you're like, I mean, I guess he's in on it, so it can't really.
No, it was-
yeah.
And
Well, you mentioned so some of the clubs have mirrors, like Howl at the Moon has mirrors where you can pay to have a message written up there, and those are just pure money makers. I mean, I don't understand why somebody would pay $5 to say I love University of Miami, but people do it all the time. But they will definitely will stall, and so we'll erase it and put up like Yankees suck just to rile up the crowd and get someone to want to change it. But
Okay, you answered my next
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
I was wondering if you preloaded some of the written phrases, because every
Yep.
time I walk in there, okay, it's funny because every time you would walk in, and your wife is a massive fan of the piano bar. Like
Well,
Tom's
yeah.
wife,
were you describing like early
she
2000s?
loved them.
We were down there at Howl at the
Oh,
Moon early.
dude.
She had a birthday party
Yes,
there.
I had a great time, but every time you'd walk in there, right, you'd look at the mirror, and much like the Inquirer, there would be like a headline that you're like, well, that seems oddly aggressive, like you guys are kind of priming it a little bit, right?
Yeah, they would definitely do that. That they do. There's a thing called battles that we do, where and usually it'll start by a request. Someone will request like Country Roads, and we'll be singing, Country Roads, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, and we get everybody to scream West Virginia. But then we'll say, for $1, we will change the name of this song forever and put your favorite state in there. And then we kind of like we'll change it to Pennsylvania, and then we'll change it to New York and
Delaware. I'm Delaware Dan.
Delaware. Yeah. And so and we're in Delaware. So it's both entertaining, but it also drives more tips in the tip jar, which really at the end of the day, a big part of what we do is separate drunk people from their dollars. But hopefully they have a good time doing it with a smile on their face.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like going to a strip club or a drag show or anything else where you're like tipping the entertainment to do something.
Yeah.
The lady who works at the convenience store near me is convinced that I'm a stripper because I'm always coming in with singles.
Right. Yeah, of course. It is odd to, I mean, nobody even uses cash now.
Yeah, but yeah, and for a while we wouldn't take anything. These days, ever since the pandemic, it's kind of did a little bit of a shift where we'll take Venmo and stuff like that. But for years, it was just cash only, and we would make jokes when people try to pay us with credit cards.
Well, yeah, because you don't want Uncle Sam dipping his toe into your tips.
Yeah, but like I think that the tip though, now follow me here, like
that
Johnny,
does screw people. By the way, you have Venmo because now Venmo, there's some electronic, record of the amount of tips you
Right.
make, and these entertainers are screwed. Like they don't want to pay taxes on cash.
Also, like I feel like just the motion of getting a dollar, walking up to Johnny, putting it in the jar and saying, "Hey, great job," or "Go Miami," right? That is the necessary thing that other people need to see to do it again. So if it's Venmo, if you're just doing it silently on your phone, I mean, do you guys have a bell or something that rings when Venmo happens? Because I think you need it because you need to let people.
That's a great point. You don't really get that sort of interactivity when it's happening just virtually. But you do. It's interesting. On Venmo, like I've got a lot of friends that are players. Well, how like Venmo, you can make a public comment,
Right,
and
yeah.
the feed, which I've always thought is weird. But so my if I look at my Venmo feed, it is literally like $5 brown eyed girl, $5 poker face, and you could see I could almost like look at Venmo and figure out what the hot songs of the week are
Right.
because it's just all requests.
That's crazy.
So, Johnny, I'm curious because I've been to enough dueling piano bars to see the hustle between your partner, because like that's a big part of it is the back and forth with the other dueler, you know what I'm saying? And then I imagine that you create this, act, let's say, where it's loose and a lot of it's improv, but you have your standards and, certain songs you guys know, you
Yeah.
have the thing. And then
You have your jokes about country roads.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
got your bits and things you're going to slot. Yeah.
And then you got, what makes money, which is obviously the sports teams and your writing stuff. And then you're getting people to pay you to stop playing songs that other people hate, like all the stuff. So I'm curious because from looking at it, I'm like, these guys can make a lot of tips, right? And I imagine that, and this I don't ask you about the business. Like, does the venue, is it a flat rate and then you make all the tips? Do you have to pay the venue to be there? Because sometimes when entertainers make so many tips, the venue's like, wait.
Whoa.
You pay us so we bring the crowd.
Yeah.
You pay us to be able to make $2,000 tonight. You got to pay us $500
That's called
to
the
be
barbershop.
Yes,
Excuse
yeah.
me, sir. You're renting a chair here.
So how does that work?
It's I mean, every club is a little different, but for the most part, the players are on stage are running their own little small business inside the club.
Okay.
And so the club will pay like a base rate, anywhere from a few hundred to $1,000 for the night, depending on the player and the venue. And then the tips we split between we don't, even though you typically have a tip jar in front of each player, we share the tips with
Nice.
all the players that have been playing that night equally. And so, but we don't tip out. I mean, sometimes we'll tip out, like if other sometimes the staff will get up on stage and sing songs with us and we'll tip them out, or if we have a back line, someone playing drums for us, we'll tip them out. But typically it's our own little thing.
That's awesome.
We don't participate in like alcohol sales or anything like that. So that's all in the bar.
Now, what is like maybe your best night? Is it New Year's Eve or like some sort of holiday
Private
weekend?
party, maybe.
Private party, and like give us an idea of what you could actually pull in on a real good night.
On a real good night, I mean, real good nights, you can pull in a couple $1,000s in tips. I mean, I've seen that. On your average night, you're looking in the 100, 200. It's more like a waiters type tips. But if depending on the club and the night, you can do really well. Typically on the big nights like New Year's Eve, surprisingly not as well as you would hope. I would say the corporate events, private parties, and really like where How at the Moon is now on iDrive, we get a lot of like convention events, like private events, and like when there's like a pharmaceutical convention in town and they're just any group that's big drinkers, they just spend money. But on the opposite side of the spectrum, you have bachelorette parties.
Yeah.
And and those bachelorette parties, they're drunk,
Is
giving
that
you
good
money.
or bad, or are they like case by case?
Well, for the most part, they're very demanding for the
Yes.
girl. And usually expecting everybody else to pay for their night. So not you high demand, low on the tips.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Johnny, which race tips the best? I'm joking. I know.
We like
I
to
know.
ask everybody.
I
that.
know the
Yeah,
answer.
yeah. We know.
So now, have you ever had an incident where someone wants you to play a song and then gets angry
Yeah.
at you, like violent, because you don't
Oh,
know
wow.
it? Like
well, alcohol is involved, so I mean, I guess anything's possible.
Yeah, it's definitely happened. I've had to have people ejected before. Usually, alcohol. Anytime alcohol's involved, people get passionate about things. I had one time someone asked me to write something up on the board, and I didn't really know what I was writing, but it had something to do with bomber pilots and fighter pilots, and we had some like veterans in the audience, and someone paid me $15 or whatever
Say
to write it
all
up.
bomber pilots are gay. Some old man from World War II. He's sitting there drinking a beer.
It was something like,
right, I hate the Japanese up there.
Like it's something to the effect of like how fighter pilots saved the bombers' asses. Or I don't even remember what the gist was, but I pissed somebody off so bad that they like wrote letters to corporate because
Oh my god.
I was but
fighter pilots are a different breed. They take it to their grave. Those guys are petty.
Yeah. My intention was not to insult anybody's military status. So.
Sure. Yeah, it's supposed to be the piano bar. I think in its like design is meant to be fun.
So
we're supposed to stay away from you're not allowed to put anything political or religious. We can't put any if somebody writes something down that's dirty, we will do our best to kind of write initials in or try to make it PG-13 instead of X.
I don't know if someone gives you $1,000 to write a camel song. I mean, you're putting it in there.
If you give me $1,000, I am singing "Wet Ass Bomber," and it's getting sung by loud.
So Johnny, last question, because I imagine you've played Piano Man 10,000 times. You played all the top 8.
You played that big wooden. What is the thing? Real quick before you go, what's that big wooden piano you play in Burning Man?
Oh, so that's a mobile piano bar that we take out to Burning Man every year. It's about 30 feet long, 12 feet wide. It's a platform. It raises 25 feet in the air. And I just got back from Burning Man and we had a great time. We bring out a bunch of players from all over the country and just go out there and have fun.
It's like a big. Think of what a Burning Man piano bar would look like. Mad Maxy Burning Man bar.
Yeah.
And he's on the top of it, and it sort of looks like, and I'm not exaggerating, it sort of looks like some sort of mechanical dinosaur monstrosity. And he's playing it, and then people are walking through the desert just listening to him jam tunes. It's insane.
The base vehicle is a military cargo loader for airplanes. So it was designed to go up to an airplane, lift a bunch of cargo in the air, and they load it on. And so we bought a military surplus one and converted it into an art car.
Do you do that just for fun, or is there some sponsor involved, or is it just passion?
That is
my God.
There's a sponsor involved, but he is doing it for fun as well. He's just a rich guy who loves dueling pianos, and we were talking one year at Burning Man, and I said, wouldn't it be cool if we had a mobile piano bar? And he said, yeah, that would be cool. Let's make that happen. So
is it the Playa piano bar? Is that the one?
Yeah, Playa piano bar.
Playa. Here, let me see if I want to see if I can put this up here because it's too insanely cool to not see. There it is.
Crazy.
There it is. So
Yep, that's it.
Look at that, dude. It looks like it could both kill you and make you happy at the same time. It's both joyful and horrible.
Were you out there for the mud year?
I was. We that was 2 years ago. We unfortunately didn't get to take the vehicle out in the mud.
Oh yeah, well I mean it looks like it would do well, but that's so too cool you can't even chance it. Like you'd have to. No, sorry.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to get stuck. And once it starts raining out there, you're not allowed to drive around because it tears up the desert.
Yeah, yeah.
So, Johnny, back to my last question. Like you played all the standards so many times. I'm sure you're bored of them. What song do you get excited that someone requests that you actually enjoy playing the most?
I'm a huge Beatles fan, so anytime people request the Beatles, especially if it's more of an obscure Beatles song, I love playing Beatles. I also like, I don't enjoy, it's not true. I went for a while. I didn't enjoy playing Piano Man because I played it so much. I think I've kind of come around again, to the other side, and now I enjoy playing it again because it is the reaction you get from people when everybody is like feeling good, they're singing along, they're got their arms around each other and they're swaying and they're just in the moment. And you can't bottle that up. You just and it kind of creates these little magic moments that I look for anytime I play.
That's killer, man.
So, Johnny, where can people see you play and find out more about you?
You can, Johnny Diggs, Diggs.org is diggz.org is my website. And, lately I've been playing at this place called Jewel, which is down on iDrive. It's kind of associated. It's in the complex that has the Pirates Dinner Adventure.
Oh, nice.
It's a cool little place. They have two real baby grand pianos on a rotating stage. It's a real nice smaller room. And I'm down at Out the Moon all the time. I got a lot of buddies who still play there, so I'll just pop in and hop up on stage when I can.
That's
and
awesome.
Last time, if Baby Grand's isn't there anymore, I think that's the last time I saw you, Daniel, was at Baby Grand's on iDrive. On Church Street.
On Church,
and
yeah.
That's where Bubba was playing too. And I remember I was sitting there trying to remember because I love your the song that you wrote about the breakfast cereal song.
Oh yeah, Serial Lover. Yeah. Way back in the day.
Yeah, and I really wanted to play that for you, but I couldn't pull it off, so I played a Bubba song instead.
Yeah. Well, any song of Bubba's is a song of mine because I miss that guy and I love him so much. So I appreciate that.
Drunk at the Denny's is something that I will pull out every once in a while, and anytime I play it, it never gets requested because so few people know it.
Oh yeah.
But anytime I play it just brings the room down.
All the people that really love that song are dead now.
I like that Serial song is Daniel's Gravedigger.
Oh, well, you don't even know. You have no idea.
Because the best thing you ever did is write this goof Serial song 25 years
You're
ago.
good with puns, you M-word.
You're great enjoyment of that. I'm like, yeah.
Johnny, thank you so much, man. Hopefully we'll get a chance to. I'd love to, I don't know what it would take to do it, but bringing our mobile equipment sometime to see the mobile bar would be
it'd be awesome just to put together a private Tom and Dan event with the dueling pianos. Like you do private events and stuff, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, all the time.
We should do that.
Oh yeah, because
we're doing that.
All BDMs is just a BDM
and
dueling piano.
Yeah, we just need a really good sound system and two pianos that are nice.
And then rent out a location. All right.
Perfect. We figured it out. All right, brother. Take care of yourself, and thanks again for doing it. All right.
Cheers, guys.
See you, man. Be good. That's Johnny Diggs live from his day job. How cool was sorry, I didn't mean to jump on your question, but how cool is that Burning Man piano?
No, it's ridiculous.
It's insane. It looks like Gravedigger, but you're playing the piano on it.
I'll jump that.
Would you? We go to Burning
Man.
No,
I can't do it anymore.
We go to Burning Man, and then you jump the piano bar while he's playing This Is Junkie, and I'm singing One Minute of Comedy.
Everybody's confused. They're like, what the hell are they saying?
And then when he lands, I'll sing Serial Lover.
They'll come out for that. So
there he is.
Of course, if you live in Florida, everybody's watching the storm, and we wanted to talk to Mike from Mike's weather page.
I was watching you this morning. Appreciate the shout out, and you are in go mode right now.
Yeah, I'm done now. I feel like I'd say I passed the baton now to the officials. I've done all I can do, and we know it's coming, and hopefully everybody's prepared and taking it serious.
It's big, right? This is a big one.
Yeah, that's what they're warning everybody. I mean, you got that look last night, and this morning it's massive. I mean, it brings back flashbacks of like Michael, even, the overall size of this thing, and the pressures are starting to really drop. I mean, everything that everybody was worried about is happening right before our eyes. So, yeah, it's a serious one. This is going to be a historic storm that affects millions of people. The whole, almost all of Florida is either in a warning of some sort, and even up into Georgia and the Carolinas and the mountains are going to have extreme flooding and power outages. We're going to have hurricane winds all the way to Atlanta. I don't think people in Georgia and those areas have any idea they're going to be experiencing what's coming.
So, Mike, I have to ask you this because, and I'm ignorant to the facts of the storm, and
You could have just stopped at ignorant.
yeah. And then I'm also, and I imagine there's other people in my boat where they looked at the storm track.
Bad choice of words.
They saw the storms hitting like the Big Bend area of Florida, which, by the way, I need to ask you, it seems like that's been a pattern of storm tracks in the past like 2 years, I would say. But anyway, I see it hitting the Big Bend, and then I live in Maitland, Florida, a little bit north of Orlando, and I'm like, oh, well, not going to affect me that much. And then I have literally done nothing to prepare for anything. So what should I do?
Oh, well, that is the biggest part of messaging. And I think the only thing I'm proud of, I think, you could say I evolved or whatever, the messaging is so important. And I still see most comments look at that cone. They're focused on tiny little shifts to the west, to the east, and it shifted to the west, and I'm so happy. And the effects are always so far outside that cone, and everybody gets so confused afterwards. They're like, well, I wasn't in the cone, and this storm especially, they're talking about 450 miles wide, massive. We're talking. They just started evacuations in Pinellas County, Zone A, and people are like, well, how's that possible? We're not in the cone. Well, it's such a big ass storm. It's shoving water, towards a large part of the Gulf of Mexico, and it's going to be hauling ass going northbound as a 9, 20, 30, 40 millibar system, and they just don't stop. So that's where the other impacts are going to be north, that people are going to be like, I didn't know this was coming. So we're going to be under tornado watches tomorrow, guaranteed, most of Florida. And we have a lot of tornado warnings with storms like this. So there'll be dozens and dozens of tornado warnings for Thursday across Florida.
So it seems like, obviously I was on Mike's weather page this morning and seeing all the information, and there's images of the actual storm and how big it is, even over the Big Bend, and it does affect basically all of Florida. And it seems like we're just going to be hit with continuous rain bands here in Central Florida over and over, just bad thunderstorms and flooding. And is that the biggest problem besides the storm surge? People inland, is it just the amount of water this thing's going to dump on us?
Yeah, so we get afternoon thunderstorms in Florida, obviously, that are rough. You look at this as kind of the same thing. I mean, if you get under one of these feeder bands, they'll be rough. There's going to be a lot of spin-up tornadoes. That's a little bit more severe than what we get in afternoon thunderstorms. Rain training, our ground saturation is extremely high right now, so a lot of folks don't realize a little bit of rain is really going to accumulate. So we could have some isolated flooding. And especially coastal areas with the surge. Some of these surge maps, like for Tampa Bay, I feel like I've been the only one. I mean, I've heard it, but I've been the only one panicking about this surge, 5 to 8 feet in Tampa. We've had these predictions in the past, but the storms turned to our south. And I've seen flooding at 4 to 5 feet. Literally thousands of homes were flooded with that forecast. This is more. So I'm glad we got evacuations in place, and I think we're going to see that being like one of the. So what I've learned with these hurricanes, everybody's focused on the landfall. They always are infatuated with the winds and the cat speed, but there's bigger stories sometimes. That's the biggest story. Who gets hit hard? Tallahassee, I'm really worried. 200,000 people live up there. We've had these Big Bend storms not make a lot of news because unfortunately they don't hit the high populated areas. I love those folks. I feel bad for them, but this is going to make a lot more headlines because it's a lot more population. But the side stories are going to be the surge that is so far displaced from center, the inland tornadoes we might get. Cruise ships are not coming into port. It's affecting a lot of people. They're like, what? That's the side effect of hurricanes. you don't think about. All the focus is over here, but oh my God, my ship's being canceled.
Yeah, no, there's a lot. I mean, with this size storm, it just disrupts every activity. You know what I'm saying?
It does.
And then
which is frustrating for those of us that are inland, because not that we're not taking it seriously, but we don't see the after effects that like Tallahassee and the storm surge and stuff like that. So yes, it can become quite frustrating.
And then so it's like, especially in Central Florida, it seems like you just got to prepare for a ton of rain. Doesn't seem like the winds. What are we looking at wind-wise here in Central Florida, Mike?
Well, I mean, tropical storm warnings, yeah, they're a little more, maybe more sustained winds that you might be, used to seeing. And the thing, too, with under tropical storm warnings, there's different protocols. There's school closures. Emergency vehicles might not be out on the road. So, just the fact that we're under a tropical storm warning, you might not think it feels any different. It just changes things. The panic level goes up a little bit. There's no toilet paper, no water.
Yeah,
so,
people are already, like, we have reports in our chat room of, all people are just decimating all grocery stores. And if you don't really need it, I wouldn't buy it. But Mike,
they'll listen to you.
Mike, are you going out? They will. They'll listen to me. I'm the voice of it. They do listen to me.
They were driving to go buy toilet paper.
If you don't need it, don't buy it. Leave it for the people that need it.
Daniel said it.
I use terry cloths, man. Those are nice.
You're a fancy man. Hey, speaking of that, do you have any plans of, are you going out in it?
Yeah. I was reached out by a hotel in Tallahassee. I'm going to hit them. I mean, I don't ever ask for handouts or anything, but I got a hotel that reached out that says they're on the same power grid as the Capitol. So I'm like, hell yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm going storm chasing. You can watch me live. I'll be all over the place. I got 2 Starlinks. I'm one-man band going into the storm, man.
I love it.
And it's crazy. I got a weird adrenaline junkie rush.
You know what you need? You know what you need? And then I just thought of this. You need a partner in crime, but not a human. You need Mike and his storm chasing monkey.
Yes,
dude, Mike and the monkey chasing storms. You put
like
a little
BJ and the Bear.
Yeah,
Yes.
just like, dude, I knew you would know my reference. Just like BJ and the Bear, my favorite show when I was a little kid.
Because Chimp Crazy is super popular.
It's super
right now.
popular, and you could do it for a couple of years before they'll rip your face off. Like, you can get them. They're cute.
Yeah.
They're cute for the first
They
3
are.
years. Yeah, you could storm chase for 3 full years with a chimp. Put a little
Don't they
diaper on
crap
him.
a lot, though? I don't want that all over my truck.
No. You can get them. They'll use the potty. They'll use the potty. Oh, the Weather Channel would love you if you had a monkey.
Yeah, and then you have the yellow raincoat
Yeah.
and the big yellow
Oh my
hat.
God. Curious Mike.
yeah. And then that monkey.
Mike and the monkey.
Mike
That's
and the
right.
monkey.
And then that monkey's climbing a palm tree and it's whipping him crazy.
And then think about this.
And you're like, look at that monkey.
You're like, go get me another one of those ABC liquor store beers, monkey. And he goes and he gets it and he holds it up to the camera. He's like, ABC, ooh, when he brings it to you. Oh, it'd be awesome.
Don't be a bad monkey. I might be spanking the monkey.
Yeah. This man needs a monkey. Set up a
What happens
GoFundMe.
in the storm chaser stays in the storm
We're
chaser.
going to do a GoFundMe for Mike's monkey.
You don't understand how happy you made me doing a spanking the monkey joke.
That should make the promo. We should do a promo.
That's better than every hurricane combined. So,
A couple days ago, I felt like I was in this stress mode. I think there's stages that I feel, pre-development hype, like, oh, it ain't gonna happen, and then we get into, oh my God, it's gonna happen, and reality sets in. Then yesterday was kind of like more, okay, bat down the hatches. We know it's coming. What are you gonna do? And then today it's kind of like you just sit back and wait. And unfortunately, the good thing about hurricanes, if there is a good thing, they're coming.
Right.
And there's a lot of other natural disasters that you don't know they're coming. So that there's, that's really a good thing. And the other good thing is communities come together like you've never seen before. And that's something I share more and more of. Don't worry if you're affected. There's always somebody there that's going to help. It's just a weird phenomenon that humans come together and it brings out the best in people.
It does. Brings out the best in monkeys too, Mike.
yeah.
I'll tell you that right now.
I used to watch the monkeys.
Yeah, I watched them all. I'm never going to let this idea go away. I think it's such a brilliant idea.
So
Maybe
the
when I'm
monkey
driving, I'll Google it and I'll watch the old monkeys. And what do we have? Emergency 51.
The
back
monkey
then?
could
It was,
drive the truck while you're on live. Like you're live and the chimp is driving the truck through the storm.
So I'll get a Tesla one day. That's my next goal.
Yeah. I got a Tesla, Mike. It's awesome. It's
Well,
killer.
I got when I'm talking about the storm chaser truck. truck.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. We got to get you. We're gonna do it.
So, Mike, last question. We've all. It seems like for 2 years we've seen the same track hit the Big Bend of Florida.
Yeah.
Is that because of the global weather patterns just so happen to line up in the past couple of years? Where is that random happenstance, or is it because the weather is set up just to steer them into this location the past couple of years?
Well, the talking point when Idalia hit was this area's never got hit with hurricanes. So I just think Mother Nature, I've always thought it always evens out. California's dry, then they get their floods. Our lake back in the back's dry, then we get a rain. It's like this area hasn't had hurricanes, so they're just catching up. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, it just. So
what I'm hearing is climate change not real. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
We'll be right back with Mike and the Monkey.
The climate is fixing to change real quick.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I just wondered it because it was like, man, there's a lot of storms hitting this exact same location.
It does seem like a pattern.
Yeah.
It does seem like a pattern.
Oh no, it is. And I mean, 04 we had the hurricanes, and 05 we had Wilma. So I mean,
yeah.
It does happen. I just think I just can't believe that, there's so much denial in October hurricanes. And I say it every year, fall in football, people are hurricane hangover by then. I think we talked about it on your show with Michael. People turn off hurricanes, and it drives me crazy because then all the people say I'm hyping and blah, 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 blah. Well, here we are in front of our eyes, probably a historic hurricane, on the rivals of some of the worst we've seen, and it's like a wake-up call a day before. It's like, oh crap, unfortunately our season just begins in October for Florida. I mean, this is a pattern we see in October, so I'm worried that we're going to have more. It just the climate, hot water, everything we talk about, it's coming together, and now the reality setting in. And I tell you, the most fascinating, crazy thing that I'm seeing is these hurricane winds through middle Georgia, like Valdosta and Albany and Atlanta. Like they're going to be like, what the hell is that?
I was up there right outside of Atlanta for one of the storms that blew through, and it took the power out in the cabin we were in, and it was the storm that we got was insane. Like the wind that we got was like hurricane style. It was crazy.
Well, you got to figure the higher up you go, the winds are way higher the higher up you go. So any elevation, you feel it. I mean, you can feel it on a skyscraper, right?
Yeah.
You start adding 1,000 feet elevation, these winds are going to be intense. I mean, we're going to have power outages like people have never seen. And that's a little bit of my worry here in Florida still is we've had so much rain. Not only are we going to get flooding rains, we're going to get maybe more power outages than we're used to because the trees and just can't take it.
Right,
we're going to see that. So we got a lot coming up tomorrow. So, I encourage people that are, in an evacuation area to take it very serious, and don't turn your back on this. It's huge. It's a big storm.
Well, hey, man.
Yeah, follow Mike on Mike's weather page on all social media. He's going to be storm chasing, so he'll be in the thick of it. Usually he's live.
SpaghettiModels.com is all you need to know.
In the middle of it, and I'm going to be watching Mike. Good luck. Be safe when you're storm chasing. I know you always will.
You wouldn't have to be safe if you had a monkey.
Yeah.
You'd have a sidekick. You have this buddy of yours always looking out for you. He could have a gun, too. I've been thinking about it. He could have a gun and get your back.
So we went on one of them cruises, and Julie booked a Monkey Island excursion, and I didn't like it. I thought I wasn't going to like it. But let me tell you, those little guys are cute.
Okay. All right. Yeah, this isn't going to misplace the dogs that you have, your little boys, your buddies. This is going to be an assistant.
Sarah wants one. She's,
You need a big ass balloon. You don't need a tiny spider monkey.
Yeah.
You need
an enforcer.
You need a big strong ass balloon monkey.
You need one so if another
like
storm chaser, you need another storm chaser pulls up in his truck and he's like, I'm here to chase too, and then you send your monkey over there to rip his Starlink off of his truck and throw it in the water. That's
Clint Eastwood had that movie, right? What was the one?
Right Turn, Clyde. Yeah. Any which way but loose.
Yep.
Well, we love you, man. Be safe out there, and we'll talk to you soon.
It's funny. Julie told me the other day, she goes, Tom and Dad didn't call you for the storm. And then like an hour later, I got the email.
No,
we're late. We were late.
Well, honestly, because we were like, it's funny because you're like, what storm? Oh God! Like it kind of creeps up on you.
Yeah, full no lying. We had Marlon Wayne's agent call us yesterday and say, "Hey, did you guys hear about the hurricane?" And we're like, "What hurricane?" I'm not gonna lie to you, Mike. I almost cursed. I'm not gonna lie to you, Mike. We had no idea until Marlon Wayne's agent told us, "Hey, Dan, Marlon's canceling his show, so you don't need to do the call today." And I'm like, "Why? Why?" And they're like, "There's a hurricane." I'm like, "Oh God."
Yeah, she lives in L.A. She's like, apparently there's a hurricane. We're like, what? Anyway,
And you're right in the middle of it, right?
Yeah, we're not thinking, man. But hey, we'll talk to you
thanks,
soon.
guys.
Be safe, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay, man.
Yeah, have a good one. Bye-bye.
All right, man.
All right, so
Be
yeah.
good. That is Mike from Mike's Weather Page.
all right, guys, we will see you tomorrow. Welcome to a company.
Do you want to leave it in? Hold on, I'm going to ask you, sir. Do you want to leave it in or roll? We have the choice. We're business owners. We can do what we want.
This
I wouldn't accept that. If I'd have done that, I'd be like, "Oh, God, Daniel, you're so stupid." And we know you're not stupid, but we've had a rough week. Last week we were screaming.
we can't
at
always have a rough
we
week.
did. Last
No.
week we were screaming at each other.
No,
This
no,
week, no
no.
screaming, but this week really stressed out. Really
no,
stressed
it's fine.
out.
It's I've.
Everything's breaking in here. All my
How-
cameras are broken. The Wi-Fi's down.
How bad
Are we at our jobs?
can I be where we've done this for over 10 years? I
Yeah.
said, welcome to a corporate time.
Thousands of times.
Maybe I don't do the math.
Thousands of
It's my
times.
religion. I can't even understand. And I couldn't even get it right.
Maybe
I was about to say,
maybe you've
welcome,
outgrown it.
welcome to a company time. I was supposed to say, I don't know
maybe
what I was
you've
going to say.
outgrown it. Maybe why don't you try? Why don't you try starting with something a little bit different? I want you to do like, "Hey yo, it's me, Don." You know, like come in with a different phrase.
No, because I got used to welcome to a corporate time.
Yeah.
And
And
then
I go,
can't
and
change it.
do you know what mine is? Because I study this. Do you know what yours is? Welcome to a corporate top of I'm Tom. That's yours. Do you know mine? It is.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's
yeah,
mine.
yeah,
I'm an
yeah.
it is. You're a welcome to a corporate top.
I hear other podcasters do this because they need. I think it's an old radio thing that
News
still
Junkie does it. He goes,
You need the-
He goes, the News Junkie on Real Radio. Like, he does a good one, dude. When I hear him, I'm like, that's how you do it.
And it's almost like you have to do the same intro
Yeah.
to get your mind into.
It's
I don't
flipping on
know.
the switch.
Yeah, it's
It's
flipping
turning
on
on
the
the switch, yeah.
Yeah. But my switch is broken.
That's okay.
Yeah,
That's
fine.
all right.
Yeah,
Everybody,
yeah,
you know, it'll get fixed. We'll fix it.
So
Welcome to the show, everybody.
If you're listening to this on Thursday, then you know. you
Hopefully
got
we're good.
Bad weather, but my sons. I was telling Daniel, we're so happy school was canceled for Thursday. That
Pumped, huh?
they were like, yeah, it was
Yeah.
like Christmas Day.
Yeah, yeah.
They only, and then I was like, why are they canceling school? And then I was like, I see. It's
Well,
easier.
buses. The buses can't
Yeah,
run,
yeah. And then you got kids on the damn side of
You
the
don't want that. You don't want kids
know.
on the side of the road. And then Maisie, just to show the inverse of that, and it will always be this. It's always the stuff that, you know, like Maisie was mad. They canceled school. What am I going to do? And I'm like, well, you could stay at home. You have toys. You have an iPad. You have shows you could watch.
Yeah.
She's like, are you coming home early? And I'm like, why would I come home early? It's a little bit of rain.
Yeah, we
And
gotta work.
That was the worst thing I could have told her. She's like, because I said, I got to work. She goes, well, then why can't I go to school? And I'm like, damn it, you got a point there. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, we should give her work to do.
We could. We honestly could bring her in here and put her to work. If you want to
Yeah.
do that, do you?
I'm a little
I'm
nervous
not
she'd be
kidding.
better than me at
Do
my
you-
job.
I am not.
I'm
I'm not
like-
joking at this. Do you have anything you want cleaned around here?
Well,
I'll do it. I'll put her to work.
you remember like old radio guys?
You want your desk clean, dude? Let me do that. She'll
Yeah,
do
well,
it.
I got drugs
And she
in
can't
my
read.
drawer.
Nah, she doesn't even know what those are. She doesn't even know what those are.
Yeah, but if they touch her fingers,
No.
it's the great death.
That's what the cop said. The cop said if they touch it, they die.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, I don't believe that. I believe you. You touch it, it feels good.
So
Yeah, I'll bring her in here and have her clean your desk. She can't really read numbers very much. She doesn't understand, so don't worry about any mistakes.
yeah, no, I'm
She
not
can
worried about
categorize
mistakes.
great.
Yeah.
She loves wiping the kitchen down.
I'm worried that you'll see Maisie do a better job than me, and then
No,
you'll
no,
be,
no, no.
and
Just
then
clean
you're like,
it.
I'll just have my daughter do it for free. I'll buy this post.
okay.
Anyway, so my buddy Fernando was staying with me the other night.
True. A serious question.
Yeah.
In order to limit your stress levels, the open door policy has to close. You have to.
No, I like it.
Okay,
That's
all
what
right.
brings
I
me
just-
joy.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
No,
but
no.
it is a lot. It's a lot.
No, because with my old friends that I've known
You guys
since
are
high
like
school,
running a hostel.
they're like family, so it's I don't care about cleaning my house before they come over. You know,
So
like,
you don't have to worry about it. Okay,
it's like a brother staying at a cousin. Anyway, so he was telling me some, because I always go into interview mode about people's jobs. I do this outside of work as well. And I was asking him about the NFL ticket because he's a general manager for multiple sports bar locations.
Yeah.
I'll plug him. Sports Grill down in Miami, best wings in Miami.
Super good, dude.
Get the Dales. So
They're good.
He's worked there since high school. We worked at the sub shop, and then he
That's
graduated.
a hard job to be a restaurant manager, dude.
And then he, now he's the general manager for like all the locations. And so he's up at some like food conference up at the convention center.
Yeah.
And so he was telling me about the NFL ticket. I didn't know this. So for commercial purposes, they still use DirecTV. And I was like, oh, they don't have commercial YouTube? And they're like, no. They're like, and it's a mess. Because with all the NFL and how they're distributing their content with the new streaming services and stuff.
So the YouTube, let me get this straight. So YouTube was only offered to us it's just for
personal
average viewer, like Joe Average.
Yes.
But if you are a sports bar or an entity of business, you are not allowed to use YouTube.
No, that's against you still using DirecTV commercial. So and that's how they always use it now. And what they have to pay is insane. And he literally he sent me a text of the actual report for like one of his locations pays $11,800
A game?
No, just for the and then
but still for the year that's way too much money.
For all like 5 or 6 locations it's 30,000 plus. That the sports bar has to pay just to air the games. I'm like, that's a lot.
No,
dude.
bring your phone and everybody watch it independently on their phone.
So then
everybody watch it on their phone and like I'll give you first beer's on me. You come to my sports bar, you save me the 30,000. Bring your phone and watch it on your own YouTube. I'll give you my login. I'll buy you a beer.
And
that's too much money.
And then of course people are like, oh, that's the cost of doing business. I need my sports bars to play the games, but I'm like, that's a lot that they have to just eat and take off their income. You know what I'm saying? Because the margins on wings and burgers and things like that is like, and in beers is not gigantic.
How do you do that as a mom and pop? I mean, obviously, Sports Grill is an entity. It's been there. It's established. It's a legacy bar.
Yeah.
People like it. I'm sure they have regulars.
That's
so
why
they're
mom
able
and
to
pops
do it.
don't do it. They can't afford it.
Like, because, do you know how hard it was for Cabin Boy Matt to calling around to find just where he and I could watch the Pittsburgh Falcons game? It's hard now.
Because to buy the commercial license isn't, and then the restaurant bar owner has to make that decision. They're like, this is just like, of course it brings patrons, but the problem is like that's all out of my the money I was gonna make. So now you're taking $10,000 off of
off the top,
the small margins that you had to begin with.
Yeah.
Like you're not selling some gigantic high price items. There's wings and beer.
Yeah.
It's like you're making $30 a customer, and then it's like, how much of that
maybe there's a lot of cheapskates, man.
It's crazy. So anyway, I just found it like I forgot how expensive that it was, and until I saw it and talked to Fernando myself, I was like, God, that is a lot. I never think
sliding
about it.
Scale that? So like if you and
it's based on capacity and things like that.
Yeah. So like let's say like Tactical Brewery over here, which
it'd be
used to
smaller.
Yeah. So it would be less, but it's still a percent. Are they going for a percentage of what the bar?
It's based on like capacity, and I don't know if it's based on like how many people, like the sales. I'm not sure.
That somehow.
I'm sure there's they're not sending an audit team to figure out if you're lying.
I mean, I don't like lying, but I'm just saying so let's just say you put one TV in your back room and you're like, well, this is the room for TV, and it just happens to be mobile, and you buy it based on the capacity of let's say 15 people, but then the TV just happens to be on rollers and we have a couple more TVs.
And there's also situations that he's heard personally, like of like bars or restaurants playing like a pay-per-view event, and them getting sued by pay-per-view for $100K.
Whoa!
And they because they
that'll
didn't
shut down your.
They didn't get the commercial license.
I've never heard of that. That's scary.
And they'll sue you sometimes. Like you'll play some streaming game that on a streaming service, and then you're like, you don't have the commercial, like, and then there's not protocol, like, for because
So, like,
gets
let's say
weird.
the
Like,
Amazon
it's on
game.
Peacock.
So if I put on the Amazon game and use like the next gen stats, and I'm not allowed to do that,
I don't know, because now everybody's confused.
No, that wouldn't be commercial. That would be private.
Yeah.
And then I put on that, and then they're like, whoa, you can't do that.
But I don't know if Amazon even has I'm sure they have something to, and then it's like, is it getting played locally? Everybody's confused right
so
now.
did they pull
and
the
this-
trigger too fast on the YouTube? Or they just wanted that money? They had to get that rolling?
It's not that per se. It's more of like, there's games that are only on Peacock, and not local.
Right.
And and that happens later on this year. Then there's playoff games that are on streaming services and stuff that are not. So it's like, okay, well, can I play Peacock just to my bar, or do I have to get the commercial package?
Yeah.
Like, they're confused by it. But so then another football related thing that I didn't know is he was telling me, he's like, I recently saw on some reel or TikTok Keenan Wayne's talk about, and then Marlon Wayne's talked on Club Shay Shay about
God,
this.
I haven't seen Keenan Ivory Wayans in forever, but he would have been the original dude.
And so apparently, the Super Bowl halftime show wasn't a big televised event where they brought in big stars. Until
It's funny because I've always thought it has been.
I know. In my memory, I was like, oh, they started this in the 80s
I have
or
no
70s.
memory. Okay, I do have a memory of the first Super Bowl I watched, but I don't know if it's right. It was there a Super Bowl Dallas versus the Redskins?
Well, no, because they're in the same conference.
Well, then they would have played on
that may have been a
Thanksgiving game, maybe?
Thanksgiving, yes.
Yeah, I have
Dallas
a memory.
Burn.
I have a memory of watching that over at my godfather's house, and I have a memory of watching the Super Bowl at his house, but I have no memory of the Super Bowl halftime show being anything other than megastars.
So, and Marlon Wayans on Club Shay Shay said this to Shannon Sharp too, but Keenan said it, I guess, in the video Fernando was telling me about, that that In Living Color was a big show at the same time, and they aired on Sunday. So Keenan came up with the idea of, hey, during the Super Bowl halftime, because back then they used to just play bands and things.
Yeah.
That we'll do a live comedy in living color,
Yeah, a
and
live special.
tell people to come over. So then they did it in living color at the time. This was like 92, 91.
I have the clip if you want to hear it.
yeah.
This is from Club Shay Shay. This is Marlon Wayans.
In living color. Tommy said you guys dropped that during halftime of a Super Bowl. Got 20 million views. And then the next thing you know, the Super Bowl and the following year, the NFL dropped Michael Jackson.
Yes. What happened was Keenan and Eric Gold and those guys came up with the idea to do the halftime show because they had bands, marching bands playing.
Yeah.
And Keenan they was like Doritos, they got with Doritos and I think Pepsi, somebody else, and they was like, we're gonna steal the audience. And Living Color was at its biggest.
Yes.
And it was like, we gonna take that audience and bring them to In Living Color, and did a special In Living Color halftime show. All the viewers scattered, left the Super Bowl, went to Fox, watched this hilarious live In Living Color episode. Damon got in some trouble. He always gonna improv something weird. He said some joke about Carl Lewis. I think to this day, Carl Lewis is still mad. David Allen Greer said, homie, he's gonna long jump into your asshole.
That's a great joke. That's a great joke. Gotta give it up for David Allen Greer.
Also, saying that on network TV in the 90s
Was salacious.
Yeah.
That was going hard.
So, and because of In Living Color, then the NFL brought in Michael Jackson the very next year.
And that was the precedent.
And that was
Yeah.
the start of bringing in giant acts.
Yeah.
And I was like, I did not know that. In my mind, I'm like, what's the effect that you misremember?
Mandela effect.
In my mind, I was like, oh, the Super Bowl halftime has been a big deal since like the late 70s, 80s. Like that's what I would have said. And apparently, they only started bringing in giant acts, and then because of In Living Color.
And then you looked it up even further. Wasn't the first group that played was New Kids on the Block, right?
Yeah, in 91. So then I was like, what? So I looked it up, and it was basically all marching bands up until 91. And for whatever reason, they brought in New Kids on the Block. Now, this is before the In Living Color thing, or before the In Living Color was super popular, even though I think they started around the same time.
The first one. Like, here, just to counter, I'll give you first and last. The first halftime was the University of Arizona Symphonic Marching Band playing the Sound of Music medley.
yeah, in like 68 or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was all marching bands
1967.
until 91, New Kids on the Block. Then they did something else, and then a couple like smaller things, and then they brought in Michael Jackson because of In Living Color. But it's bizarre. I was like, God, I would have never. If someone said the first like entertainment besides marching band was New Kids on the Block in the Super Bowl, I would have never guessed that. That's a good piece of trivia.
In 1979, this is a great one. In 1979, the halftime show was Ken Hamilton and various Caribbean bands.
Yeah, it was a nothing.
That's crazy. Okay, here's a crazy one.
I don't think they even televised it.
Here's a super crazy one. These people came to my school. January 24th, 1982, Up With People. You remember Up With People?
No, what is that?
They were like an encouraging youth group that would go around to high schools and try to teach you to like not do drugs and like empower you to be like a good human.
Yeah.
And it was called Up With People. Yeah, I remember them.
We're also forgetting.
They did it again at the 20th. The 20th, 1986 was Up With People again. Okay, here's a weird one. The 21st Super Bowl, 1987. That was George Burns, Mickey Rooney, and Grambling State University's marching band. Okay, hold on. Here's another one, 1988. Chubby Checker and the Rockettes. Does that count? Chubby Checker?
Maybe.
Joe Robbie Stadium, January 22nd, 1989. Elvis Presto. Is that you? Are you Elvis? You're Elvis. Who the hell is Elvis Presto and the South Florida area dancers? You are Elvis Presto, and I'm one of the South Florida dancers.
Elvis Presto.
Elvis Presto. Okay, here's another one. I know all these. I don't expect you to know this. But January 28th, 1990, Pete Fountain. He's a world-famous jazz musician. I think he plays clarinet. He's a clarinetist. But he's famous, but he's not. He's only Pete Fountain. He's New Kids on the Block. Yeah, 1991.
That was the first.
So before New Kids was Pete Fountain. And then Gloria Estefan, Michael Jackson, Clint Black, Patti LaBelle, Diana Ross, the Blues Brothers featuring Dan Aykroyd, John Goodman, and Jim Belushi. Yuck. That's bad. Boys to Men, Gloria Estefan again, Phil Collins, Aerosmith and NSYNC, U2. This is all relatively new stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, now we're getting into with late 90s, right?
Yeah, you're doing like, early 2000s, really, like late 90s, early 2000s. Early 2000s 2002 was U2. 2003 was Shania Twain and No Doubt. 2004, Janet Jackson, P. Diddy, Nelly, Kid Rock, Justin Timberlake, and that's the one that stopped the world.
Yeah. And that may have been the, at that time, like the most popular thing on TV was the Super Bowl halftime.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because
I think they threw the year it shut everything down when Janet Jackson's nipple fell out.
Yeah.
Was the best. I think you could argue that it had the most star power. They crammed it full of stars.
If that doesn't happen, I am not sitting here today.
True.
100%.
It changes the trajectory of our entire job.
Yeah.
I don't know where I would be. I'd probably still be working in radio somewhere.
That's the butterfly effect
that
Janet Jackson's nipple had on me.
It is.
Because that was the reason that...
You should get a tattoo of her nipple.
Howard Stern got kicked off the air in Orlando. That's the reason the Monsters went to the morning. That's the reason that I got hired, because all of a sudden it went from midday show to morning show, which were bigger budget.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden that's the reason the Monsters got syndicated in Florida
100%.
because then they had the money to pay me part-time, and then that was it. That started my career, that nipple.
100%.
Because I was an intern at the time during the midday, and then the nipple happened. All of a sudden, we're morning.
And who would
guess? And there's like, oh, you got more money.
Yeah, and who would guess that Justin Timberlake, DUI, one martini, and Janet Jackson thinks Kamala Harris is not black. Everybody's crazy. Those two are crazy now. Would you have guessed that they'd be crazy?
Oh yeah. If someone said this guy will end up crazy, I'm like, oh yeah. You can't not be. You've been a celebrity since you're 12.
Yeah.
It's like you're gonna have a bizarre life. But it's funny too because I'm looking back at the 90s and I'm like, I can't believe that the Super Bowl halftime show wasn't a bigger deal. And then I keep forgetting, like, I'm looking at the NFL as it is today. Back in the 90s, dude, these NFL teams were worth like $70 million.
Right, it was a different animal.
Like, the worst NFL team you could think of, and think of that in your head, is worth $5+ billion.
We just did that, right? Didn't I look up the worst team and it's worth $6?
Yeah. Like
it's the Carolina Panthers. They're
Yeah.
worth $6 billion and they are trash.
Yeah, think about how much of appreciation each team, and then it's because it's the only live thing now in a world of on-demand.
All that money was television money injected into the teams.
Yeah, marketing money.
Just marketing.
Yeah.
But obviously the deals through networks and big
they're
corporate
insane.
sponsors.
Yeah, because it's like going back to why the NFL ticket is so expensive for commercial businesses is because if you don't have that, then people they won't come. They want to watch. It's the biggest thing in town that's going on live, and everybody's got the fantasy. Everybody's gambling. So they want to watch all these different games. It used to be like, oh, well, we live in Miami. We want to see the Dolphins play. That doesn't. Everybody wants to see everybody play.
Yeah,
because they're everybody's fantasy team. It's like such a big.
Sports is fun. They've made it very attractive. Like you go to Atlanta. You're not even a Braves fan. Truist Park is so nice, and it's such a mall. It's almost like going into a theme park. So if you're just a casual baseball fan, you'll go and blow a couple $100. It's designed to suck your wallet away. Yeah. Speaking of that, I'm going to see UCF play this weekend against Colorado. Yeah. I lucked out with some tickets. Thank you, Rick, BDM Rick, for hooking me up. I've never been to a UCF game ever.
And you get to see prime time on the sidelines.
Yeah. I'm gonna yell at him. I don't want him to win. I mean, obviously. I mean, I'm going for our black and gold, not their black and gold.
Yeah.
And I think we are 11-point favorites.
It's a sold out game because of Colorado, right?
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, obviously,
what's the line?
It would be sold out already, but
12.5, 11.5. What's the line?
I don't know, college.
I think we're favorites.
Yeah. UCF is going to be favored, but that's it is interesting that it's right down the street, and I've never been to a UCF game.
Let's go.
And it's right there.
I got an extra ticket, buddy, if you want to tag along.
Well, the
tag along with my wife. I'll let you pump her.
My family would I don't know what they're doing, but I gotta entertain them.
I got you.
So
you want to take a little break?
Yeah, let's take a break. We'll be right back with more Corporate Time. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. All right, this is going to be stupid.
I love stupid,
but
most of the thoughts that I have throughout the day are pretty stupid. Like, I can't stop thinking about getting Mike from Mike's weather page a chimpanzee companion to drive around in his weather truck. I'll be stuck on that all day. So continue.
So Crystal, she calls me over yesterday, and she's like, boys. And then we sit down in the living room.
Are you one of the boys?
And no, she was calling Max and Tommy.
Gotcha.
And but Crystal's like, you got to hear this. So then Crystal's like, explain to me, this all started because Crystal said pint, and I forgot what she was referencing, but in a conversation with the boys, she was like, pint of this or whatever. And the boys like, do you mean pint? And then she's like, what are you talking about? And they're like, you said pint, but you mean pint, right? And then Chris is like, no, I mean pint. It's pronounced pint. And they're like, no. We've learned it's pint. All our teachers say pint. And then,
this is making me mad.
So
I'm getting mad. I've never heard of pint.
So yeah. So then
I almost cursed.
So Crystal's saying that, and then I'm like, no. And I'm like,
I think they're messing with you.
I'm like, you're
they're effing with you.
You're getting this wrong.
Wait, is their teacher British?
No, well, so
aluminium and lift and
so then
zebra.
They're
It's
like,
not a zebra, it's a zebra.
But by the way, I Googled this, and there's no other pronunciation of pint.
They're clowning you.
There's not pint and pint.
It's a collective Van Brothers clown. They're trying to make you guys look like fools.
and
Fools!
And then I'm telling them, I'm like,
They're getting you back for the gutter.
you're right. No, they still, maybe they do. They have
Dude,
to
I think they're screwing with you.
I started looking it up. So then today, driving, I was telling them, like, you have to confirm with me, with your teachers, that they.
No, you have to go in. You can't take their word for it now. You think I'm gonna come back to my dad when he's like, "Did you ask your teacher if it's pent?" And I'm like, "Yes, I did." And she died on the hill. It is pent, Dad.
But I Googled it. There, no one says pint. It's pint.
They're messing with you.
It's an uncommon word. I looked up the whole thing, and there's no really explanation why we pronounce it as pint and not pint, because it's spelled pint, like mint. And then and that's what I think they're screwed up. Like, they see the word and they're
well,
like,
that's not a good sign. They're like, no one's correcting that, and they're like, I want a pint of ice cream.
So then, okay, this is where I get stupid with me. So I start deep diving in my, like, with Crystal. I'm like, well, I'm like, what? Okay, we do pints of beer and pints of blood, but that's it. There's no
Pints
other.
and paws.
No,
They know the word. They've seen you've worn a pints and paws shirt.
Well, with the unit of measurement of pint, right?
Pint of ice cream.
Pint of ice cream.
Pint of beer.
So
pint of milk.
We don't use milk. Pint.
Well, I'm just going with
we
normal pints.
And gallon.
You've never said, like, oh, get a pint of milk, like whole milk, the smaller one, because you're cooking.
Does that come in a pint?
Yeah, like I'll tell Andrea, like, oh, hey, grab me a pint of milk. Okay. I don't need a gallon because let's say I'm making a sausage gravy, and I need whole milk.
So that whole milk is a pint.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
you
then
can get it. Did I mess you up?
My whole well, because I was like, it's weird that in other units of measurement we don't see pint except for blood and beer.
Blood's a good one.
And then I was like, why they use? And then we started to have this conversation about
why
a
pint is bastardized. I'm glad you're talking about this because there's a problem here. Okay, so if I go to a bar and I get a glass that's about this tall with beer in it, what is that?
They will call it a pint
only if it's 16 ounces. Because if it's 12 ounces, it is not a pint. And most beers, I contend, are like that tall, and it's 12 ounces. Yeah. Like it's a can of beer. That's 12-ounce beer.
Yeah.
It's not a pint. You can buy pints now. Like, now I can go over there, and when I get Coors Lights, I buy the 4-pack because I like a pint. I like a 16-ounce beer. I don't like a 12-ounce beer. Too small for me now.
Yeah.
I like 4 pints. That's the perfect, like a pint of beer. And when you take that 16-ounce beer and you pour it into the cup, if it's a true pint glass, it'll go all the way to the top.
Yeah, because the pint glass has to be 16 ounces.
16 ounces.
Yeah. Bigger than that, not a pint. But then...
But we bastardized that at bars. Like, if you go to
But the British did that because they just call everything a pint.
Or did we do that because they do? I think we did that. I think we're close here. I think they pour proper 16-ounce pints. I think we pour 12-ounce beers, and it looks like their beer. So we, as dumb Americans, go, it's a pint.
So then I started thinking about why they do blood in pint amounts.
Okay, that's a great question.
And then I started looking it up and deep diving, and then they were like, people don't understand milliliters, but they understand like the quantity of a pint. So it's just a marketing thing. Like, if you said, because I guess 500 milliliters is technically a pint, but if you said that, like, do you want to go donate 500 milliliters of blood?
No, that's too much.
yeah.
All right.
And they're like,
I was playing the part of dumb American.
Or a pint of blood. They're like, I get the amount.
Just a little squirt. I'm good.
Except, this is where I couldn't get beyond. 2 cups are a pint. And that sounds
2 cups of blood sounds like a little bit. I'm with you.
That sounds better market. Like, do you want to donate 2 cups of blood? I'm like, yes.
Sounds like less than a pint.
Yes, but it's the exact same measurement.
I got to agree with you on that.
So then, Crystal,
you know what? This is the greatest topic. I love your stupid topics. I think you've been hiding these topics from me, and I love these. These are the kind of things I think about all day long.
So then Crystal and Fernando were like, no.
Oh, no, those two, they'll gang up on you.
Yeah.
Because they're lifelong friends. No, those two will gang up. Oh, they were playing slap the R word. They were. They were.
So then their argument were, oh, no, but that's 2 of something sounds more than 1. But I'm like, no,
that's the old 2 coins is better. Like, that's 2 quarters. Yeah, no.
But I was like, no. I'm like, 2 cups.
A cup sounds like nothing.
Sounds way less than a pint.
A cup of sugar sounds like nothing. 2
Yeah.
cups of sugar is still nothing.
Yeah,
a pint of sugar sounds like a sizable
Yes.
amount. A bounty.
Yeah. So my argument, if it was just marketing, they should have stuck with 2. Who wants to donate 2 cups of blood to save the babies?
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, I do.
You put save the babies on there. That's good.
Whatever the hell blood's for. I think it's just for resale.
Yeah, well, you know what I learned?
I think it's just a for-profit.
You know what I
resale
learned?
business.
They don't even use the blood that you give them. They take it and they spin it all crazy and make it into something else. They separate it.
They get the platelets.
And I
out
told
of
it last time I was giving blood, I was like, you're not going to separate this, are they? Are you? And they're like, well, we don't know what they do with the blood after it's here. I'm like, we're done here. Pull this thing out. Get this thing out of me. If you don't know where it goes, then why the hell am I? What do you do?
I need a medal or some sort of ribbon to be, I'm a hero.
I would like, okay, is this too much to ask? I would like, once I'm done giving blood, I want to give a little card, and I want you to label my blood, and I want to see where it goes.
Oh, track it.
Yeah.
Like a UPS tracking code.
Like those dollar bills, where's George? I want to track my blood like, where's George?
I think if you could have
Show me the child I helped.
Yes.
I'd give more blood.
And here's the thing, blood companies, it doesn't even have to be real. Just make it all up. It'd be easier.
I want mine to be real.
Well, I'm just saying, we'll promote that it's real, but it's not real.
Oh, okay. All right, that's fair. That's fair. You got me back on board.
I mean, for it to be real, is
you got me back on board.
All the people have to scan the UPC code. And
We've been full of great scams today. This is one of my favorites.
But if you donated blood and then you got a tracking...
we could just use AI children. They don't even need to be real people. I'm like, make me an AI little girl that needed blood.
But imagine if you were able to track your blood, like it goes to Georgia, and then you see the child it helps, or like the old veteran or anything.
But I want to know what happens with it. They're like, even if it let's say it goes to my arch enemy right now, Dave Matthews. If it I would be upset about that. I'd be like, don't give my blood to Dave Matthews.
Or if they wasted it, you just want to see where it goes.
What if the vehicle carrying my blood careened off of a mountain?
You see it.
And I'm looking on the Apple AirTag. That does not look good. That's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. But if you were able to see where it went, then I feel like more people would do it.
A donkey broke into the blood bank and ate my blood. I want to be able to see it.
I know they make it easy, but I forget to sign up because it's there's benefits to donating blood, like having your body reproduce more blood.
Yeah.
We evolved, I think, to lose blood a lot because we were constantly getting hurt.
Hey, I know ladies did.
And so it's there's some benefits with cholesterol, and if you have too much iron in your blood, there's.
I want all the iron in my blood I can get, so I'm strong like a man.
But anyway, I don't know.
Yeah, the blood thing.
The pints.
When's the last time you gave blood?
It's been a while.
Is it when we went with Butler and Sam, and Butler got denied because he's a filthy foreigner, and he was offended.
Yeah.
And he was very upset that he could not give blood. They need to give you better prizes when you give blood. They give you movie tickets, and they give you a blanket, they give you a cookie.
Yeah,
I don't know. Just give me some money.
Yeah. Just $5.
Yeah, just give me $5.
Like an Arbitron.
yeah, give me $1.
One crisp dollar.
They get me with the crisp dollar. I don't know what it is. It must be like a nostalgia thing for me as a kid because I understand the value of $1. But when I see a crisp one, I'm impressed.
But also, I will not fill out the survey. I'll just take the dollar. And because
I do that too.
I don't care. That's it.
Would you like
I just take the dollar, and then I'm like, well, that's it.
Would you like to do a couple of voicemails?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what we got here in the voice. If you'd like to leave us a voicemail, because I like it when you leave voicemails, you can call 1-844-TOMNDAN or use our free app and leave us a voicemail. Let's do my game because I think we got just enough time.
Okay.
This is a new game I'm inventing. This is called Cliffhanger Voicemails. Here we go.
Hey, Tom and Dan, this is Charles checking in. I was listening to your Wednesday, Friday free show before the cruise. You're probably not going to play this till you get back if you do play it. I was just thinking about what the scan text that Tom got. Thinking about 10 years ago, my wife, Danielle, decided to get the girl I took to prom's picture and create a MySpace page and messaged me on the MySpace page saying, "Hey, this is Andrea. How you doing? I haven't heard from you in a long time. How's life been?" You know, and so I responded to that as, "Hey."
Oh, Charles, what have you done? You responded.
Oh, and your wife did this to try to entrap you into.
Well, I don't think she did it to just. I want to be. It's going to be funny. I'm going to tell my parents. It's called Pent. I don't think it was a little prank. This is a life-changing, earth-shattering prank.
Okay.
This one rattled. When I heard this the first time, and it naturally cuts off there. I did not pause that. His voicemail just ends. I sat here for a second, a little stunned, because that's a night. I would never do that, but that is a nightmare of mine. A nightmare. That's a nightmare.
So
terrifying.
So what I find, and it's kind of like any sort of entrapment, right? So it's like you drive your Lamborghini.
Oh yeah, I knew you were gonna go Tyreek Hill. Why you wrapping up my glass?
Yeah,
get your fingers on my glass.
To the let's just say
the chat room is thinking that she unplugged the phone. And that's why his voicemail ended so abruptly.
And then you leave the doors open, you leave the Lamborghini running in, let's say, an impoverished side of town.
Okay.
And then someone gets in and drives away, and then you arrest them, and it's kind of like, would this person have stolen a Lamborghini in any other circumstance?
You had to leave the door open with it running in a bad neighborhood.
And it's like you kind of dangled it in front of him, it seems. So then, like, you as a wife, you're like, I want to test my husband and see if he will cheat on me if somehow.
Don't do this, ladies. This is a bad. This will ruin your relationship.
First, ask yourself: is there any possibility that your fatso husband? No offense, whoever this is. I'm just guessing you're fatso.
He's just using any example.
Is there any possibility that your loser fatso husband is going to have their old prom date contact them 15 years or 20 years later, seeing what's up with him, and
do you think this is common?
No,
it's not.
It's not common.
It's not common. It can't be.
So is there, like, first ask yourself that. So what are you even testing? Like, or is, because you dangled some sort of fruit in front of him, he's might have actually start being interested.
Well, we don't know what he said.
Yeah.
We honestly don't know what he said because the voicemail cut off. The chat room, there are some ladies in the chat room right now that are basically outlining it, that all men will cheat if given an easy opportunity. A couple of opinions from ladies. I don't necessarily feel that way. I don't think all men will cheat. I don't think you can talk like that. But
it's not all men. But
I would say that most would.
But but think to yourself, like, what are you accomplishing here? You're going to ruin your relationship to test your husband.
Yeah,
this would have never happened.
Yeah, but you're thinking with a rational. That you don't think like that when you're irrational. You think about your scheming brain is completely irrational.
Yeah.
At least mine is. Like, I have a lot of these thoughts, but I don't really act on them a lot. So I can say in this example, using Charles's wife, I would be closer to Charles's wife, but I would think about, wouldn't it be great if I messaged my wife, Andrea, from a burner account that was her, ex-boyfriend who was the drift car driver, and I said, hey, what's up? Saw you have a family now. What's going on? Just to, some sort of morbid curiosity. It's almost like you can't help yourself, right? You have to test them because you don't trust them. Maybe they did something to make you think that you don't trust them, so you feel like you need more.
That must be an emotional thing. I've never.
Yeah, you don't have that.
It never crossed my mind once to ever see if.
Yeah,
Crystal,
you don't have that.
It's a nothing. Also,
it's like not loving
that's
your
on
son.
me.
You don't have that. It's impossible. You know, those people that are just they walk away from their families and they're okay with it, and then they can go. I know a guy right now that. He left his daughter, who's beautiful, and she's in her teens now, older and about to go to college. And this guy just straight up left the family, and they're friends of me and Andrea's. And this guy was the dad, right? And he exited, and now he is the quintessential, has the new family, spends time with them. And their other family, the daughter and everything, they do not exist. It's not even a real thing.
Bizarre,
You can't do that. You'll never You'll never do that.
But it's also like, let's say I emailed, I make an account, I make it Antonio,
Yeah.
and then she's friends with Antonio, by the way, on Facebook.
Yeah,
I don't care.
sure, whatever.
Who cares?
Yeah.
And like nothing.
I mean, you guys have been married for 50 years. Whatever. Yeah.
Now this is definitely something Crystal will do to me, which I'm
she
always
wouldn't
on the
like
lookout.
That. She wouldn't like that. Like if you were friends with Frog Pajama Pants and
Oh hell no.
no, that wouldn't. Yeah, but
None.
that's just you're different people.
Also,
I'm closer to Crystal. I wouldn't like it if Andrea were friends with the drift car driver she used to date.
if any woman ever messages me in any scenario, I think it's Crystal. Or some.
Oh, so you're getting my messages.
Or if someone tries to seduce me, I'm going to think this is a trap that Crystal set.
Right.
Like
Punked, you're a
yeah. Or something like I'll never.
You're on Walk the Prank.
Because guess what? That doesn't ever. I mean, okay, it happens very
Infrequently.
infrequent
Yeah, there you
situation. Yeah. I just don't think that people are getting seduced by or married men.
Well, not us.
Are getting seduced by women.
Some are.
Some are. It is
I think normally the guys that
outlier.
are getting seduced, if I'm just throwing in my opinion, I think a lot of guys that are getting seduced are looking to be seduced. Do you see what I'm saying?
but
we have
all-
a phone call.
Okay, yeah.
Might be your wife.
Who looks at their husband for the most part? And then, I mean, you got to be realistic with yourself. You're like,
Hey,
no one's seducing this
Thanks
guy.
for calling. Thanks for calling Tom and Dan. Who's this?
Hey, Dan, this is Charles. How you doing,
Charles.
buddy?
All right, we got the
Okay,
update. All right,
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
perfect timing. All right, good job, buddy. We're glad that you called. And it was cliffhanger voicemails is the new segment that we're doing, and your phone cut off right at the end of it, so we don't really know what happened. I mean, obviously we can put context clues together, and the fact that you have a lot of shared social media accounts with Danielle leads me to believe that maybe she still doesn't trust you in some way.
Yeah, well, it's kind of my fault because of the way I responded to the MySpace. I just said, you know, at the time we weren't married, we were just together maybe a couple of years. I mean, MySpace, God, it feels like it's been forever ago.
Yeah.
So it was, I said to the girl, it was, like I said, I went to prom with her. It was the first girl I ever was a serious, like, dating or whatever. But I just stopped talking to her. And so she had her profile picture. She had everything. It looked legit. I mean, it was totally, especially back then when there was no other social media, so you had no idea. And so she says to me on there, she says, hey, you know, I wanted to catch up with you. I said, well, whatever you do, don't message me on this account. My girlfriend checks this account. At the time,
It's good to have that in writing. Hold on, I got to write this down.
So you said the absolutely worst thing you could possibly say.
Yeah, hold on. I think someone's coming. Hello?
Why are you messaging me here? My wife reads this.
Yeah.
Write me a letter.
Yeah.
Meet me here at this hotel.
No, I didn't do all that. No, I didn't do all that, Tom. No, I just said, you know, because I didn't want her to get mad. It was just a friendly, hey, how you doing? Hey, I got, you know, my...
Just a hey, friendly, don't let my wife know.
It was supposed to be that. That's in my head. That's how it was
I
going
know.
down. But in reality, Danielle, I mean, we literally almost split up over it. So it was like a
sorry.
thing. Now, I always share all my social media with her, email, everything.
Yeah, you learned your
Because
lesson.
there's never any confusion.
You learned your
Hold
lesson.
on, Charles. Do you ever say like, "Hey, you're crazy for doing this"? I know they don't like that, but I just want to put it out there and be like, "This is
Yeah,
something that you caused. I didn't do
Yeah.
nothing. You
I
are."
was going to offer that. I don't hear you say it very often.
Yeah,
but I
like-
do like that you're offering it to
Like,
Charles.
quit being crazy. This is you initiated all this. I'm just doing. I'm sitting here working. I'm like, what the hell? Like, you started this. Did you say that?
Yes, that was 100% a conversation, which did not go over well.
Oh,
Made
yeah.
things worse, just like you said. So it was like that. I mean, we have a lot of the same kind of qualities as far as our wives go. Our wives
Yeah,
are
just like you, Tom.
God, that's
You could say just like me.
God. Crazy people hate being called crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's the last thing we want to be called.
All right, Charles.
But everything's good now, Charles. You guys are on the straight and narrow, and you just share everything.
No, she still gets on me whenever, like, I can't have Instagram because some girls were messaging us. Even though we shared the account, I can't. There was it had to have been botched.
You got to get a burner
I
phone,
mean,
dude.
no way, 22-year-old girls are messaging me.
Yeah.
With my wife sitting next to me in the picture.
And you're missing
saying,
good
"Hey, I
stuff.
liked your profile."
You're missing the good stuff. The new thing on Instagram now is like breastfeeding is out of control. It's
my God.
and now girls are just wearing whatever like rag they can put on their breast, and just every girl is just walking in the street with big plumb bob bouncers, and it's
Lord.
it's pornography everywhere, man.
Yeah, I don't look towards. I like my TikTok. If you guys check me out on Charles and Danielle on TikTok, I have almost 5,000 followers. Trying to get there so I can get paid.
There you go.
It's a source of income for me, so it's really cool. You guys, I always like to follow all y'all's stuff on there and share it with people. So I really enjoy you guys' show, and it's really fun to listen to. Dan, I do think you should pull the Taylor Swift and re-record all your music. I think that you were amazing.
I own all my music. It's fine. Like they're not gonna steal my music. They don't.
We
they're
can
not,
do anything.
Yeah, not good enough. I'm not good enough for them to steal my music.
We'll do whatever.
Yeah.
We realize like no company's gonna sue us.
No.
That doesn't exist.
It's not a thing.
You sue.
They
up.
don't even know we're on the air. Truthfully.
You never sue down. Always sue up.
Yeah.
Walmart sue. Tom and Dad.
Nah,
leave 'em
Leo's
alone.
alone. Charles, we love you, buddy. Have a good day. Okay.
All right, I'll shut up and listen. Have a good one, guys.
All right,
Thanks.
buddy. Be good.
What was he saying? You got the peacock? What was he plugging?
His TikTok.
Oh, TikTok.
His TikTok.
Oh, that said peacock.
Weird. It's weird that you can't understand the mumbling of a person exactly like you. It's like we're looking into a mirror.
Yeah. 5,000 followers of you not gonna.
No,
make
I think
nothing.
he has 1,000 followers.
Oh, okay, yeah. Even
He might have 5,000. I don't know. I think he has more than us.
Big Tim had hundreds of thousands.
nothing.
And then he said,
Yeah.
"I can't even make $15 off
Yeah,
it."
he works at a restaurant in California, I think, and he looks very happy. So
All right. Well, be safe out there with the storm.
yes,
And we'll see you tomorrow.